Oh my goodness. Hope you guys can hear me. Let me figure out what's going on with my camera. If it's not one thing, it's something else. Give me 1 second here. Let me figure this out. All right, forgive me for the dropping of the camera. Not sure what's going on with that. But anyway, hopefully there's some more errors. Anyway, welcome to the live stream. My name is Mike, the host of Detroit's #1 YouTube talk show. Looking forward to find out what's on your radar. And it looks like, most breaking news happens to be with the temporary halting, I assume, of this mandate that was thrown out by the Biden administration, where OSHA basically overstepped their authority in trying to enforce employers of over 100 businesses with over 100 employees to mandate some things. So curious to get your thoughts on that. And so I must admit, I'm very surprised. And so should this be considered as a win, or is this a setup for something else? It's kind of where I'm trying to figure this out. So I want to go through a couple articles here. And of course, I had a couple other subjects I want to jump on, but we'll see where it takes us today. But for those that are plugged in, definitely let me know where you're watching from. Any first-time viewers, let me know in the chat. Love to acknowledge your presence. And then the phone lines open up. 313-462-0027 is the number to call and let your voice be heard. So let's jump right into it. We got JoJo checking in. We got Jay. We got Gary checking in. See some more BlackRock. We got Marcel checking in. Looks like Canada and the UK. We got Ann Tame. We got Mike Smith checking in. Says, here you know. Okay, let's make sure everything's good. We got Yareli, if I'm not mistaken. We got Mark checking in. Rod. We got Natural Mama, Barlight Broker, Pablo, Jason, Simon. We got D3W checking in. So as always, appreciate you guys for blessing me with your time. We got Tim checking in from Louisiana. Appreciate you, my friend. If you don't mind, we got TB checking in. Hit the thumbs up button. Show your support for the channel. Hopefully a few more people are notified. But I want to definitely get your guys' take on it because I'm kind of thrown for a loop here. Because I remember, I think it was several weeks ago, talking about how surprising it was that the Supreme Court would decide to hear the arguments in regards to this whole mandate situation. And so, definitely, I'll take a win whenever we can. But then again, just a suspicious nature in me always look at, what's the other side of this equation that, we're being set up for. But I'll go through a couple of little headline articles that caught my attention, then open up the phone lines and get your thoughts on things, just because I'm curious to hear what else is happening out there. Anyway, so here's the article I want to start off with. It says Supreme Court halts COVID vaccine mandate for large businesses. And I was extremely interested in finding out what was the verdict, out of the entire Supreme Court panel, who voted for what, who didn't. And of course, this article here lays out a little bit of that information. But just to read through a couple of things I highlighted, just says Supreme Court has stopped the Biden administration from enforcing a requirement that employees at large businesses force the protocol upon people. It says at the same time, the court is allowing the administration to proceed with a mandate for healthcare workers in the U.S. It says the court's conservative majority concluded the administration overstepped its authority by seeking to impose the Occupational Safety and Health Administration's vaccine or test rule on U.S. businesses with at least 100 employees. More than 80 million people would have been affected. It says in dissent, the court's 3 liberals argued that it was the court that was overreaching by substituting its judgments for health experts. So 3 liberals were arguing against the Supreme Court stopping it. So it's go to show you where they stand beyond just the stuff that they've already exposed themselves about. But it says here the mandate that the court will allow to be enforced nationwide covers virtually all healthcare workers in the country. More than 208 million Americans, 62.7% of the population have been fully participating thus far. And that's a number, I question that number, but we'll roll with it. And it says more than a third of those have received their boosters. According to the CDC, it says all 9 justices have gotten their booster shots. That's something else I would question that as well, but we'll go from there. But here's another little article headline. It says block on Biden's OSHA vaccine mandate lifted. What does this mean for employers? And so just something that caught my attention is just the numbers. It says while 73% of Americans over 12 have received at least 1 shot, there has been significant opposition to the blanket vaccination policy. So 73%, over 12 got, have participated. It differs from the number we just heard a minute ago. But then on the back end of that, Supreme Court killing COVID vaccine mandates wouldn't leave Biden without some options. And so I was reading through this article here, and it looks like they were preparing for the day if both of the mandates on the healthcare as well as on the private sector was shot down. What would be the alternatives for the Biden administration to pursue? And it looks like, according to some things that they want to throw out here, it's real. It's not too much of an argument here, but it says though widespread vaccination among healthcare workers is the best solution. If a mandate isn't allowed, the administration can still entice healthcare operators with other incentives. Then it goes on to talk about basically targeting senior citizen homes and all the Medicare, Medicaid, government sponsored programs, basically incentivizing and really looking to impose the government's desire for participation using those programs. And a lot of the Medicare, Medicaid, or majority of all of that happen to be on the lower income totem pole of individuals in this country, as well as the senior citizens. And so they still have a way of trying to enforce some things if need be. They can basically just use their government programs even more so and cranking up pressure. That article is basically talking about, incentivizing people by removing funds or adding funds to the equation. So just something out there. But I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts, because I was actually going to talk a little bit about the digital assets, central bank digital currency space prior to hearing about the Supreme Court. But it just caught me by surprise. And I'm like, okay, I'll take a win when we can take a win. Should we consider this, a victory? Amongst the jurors on the Supreme Court, there, the ones that voted in favor of shooting it down, they obviously were looking at things from a constitutional standpoint, because they were willing to say that OSHA was never even given the authority to impose such regulations on the entire health system itself. So they already overreached their boundaries there. And so is that some good interpretation on their part, or is this a setup for something else? So these are all things that I'm worrying about, man. But anyway, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I want to definitely open up the mic and let me hear what you guys have in mind. So if you guys want, give me a call or highlight in the chat, and I'll definitely jump on it. But let me see. So Timo says, what setup, Mike? Please elaborate what path this could lead to. Okay, good point there. So as much as I want to be optimistic about everything we're experiencing, that there's some good forces within the government still working on behalf of the people. Anything's possible. I do believe that there are some people out there who mean well, but yet the forces that they're up against are much greater than them. Given the fact that the private sector, the governments, as well as the central banks are all working together to execute this plan that is much bigger than anything that we've been presented with as far as the stuff thrown our way. So when I see stuff like this where the Supreme Court shoots down something, it sounds good on the surface, and definitely it is. I'll take it. I'm gonna ride with it. But then again, I would anticipate in the very near future us hearing about something that would either favor this the government's agenda to continue to push the narrative that people need to participate, to where it just leaves me suspicious. That's all. I could be 100% wrong. I hope I am wrong, but it's one of the things where whenever there is what appears to be a victory, not too much longer after that's followed up with something that caught us by surprise, where we can say, man, I didn't see that coming. And then you factor in how right now the mainstream media is just clowning Fauci. There's books out now. The Project Veritas from this past week exposes Fauci for having lied about the gang of function and the whole Rand Paul Senate hearing stuff. They still going at it, but yet Fauci still is employed. He's still employed, still getting paid. I think 300,000-400,000. I think he's the highest paid, highest paid government official, and his retirement package is looking mighty lovely. He's still employed. So until I see things like that, where he's removed from office, tried for some crimes against humanity and all that type of stuff, I'm still going to follow the pathway that, things are progressing towards what they want rather than what we, the people, would want, until I see some tribunals and some things like that. That's kind of where I sit. But I don't want to I'm not giving up hope. I'm just more so trying to be realistic. So that's what I mean. But anyway, let's keep it moving. Feel free to throw out. Let me actually make sure I can get some calls. Oh, and sure enough, I've been missing calls. And also, you probably won't be able to see it on the screen, but just something real quick. I'll show this so you guys can see it. But you may not. Let me know. Let me see here. You can't see it, but on this screen here, okay, you can't see it. But I'll I saw something on Twitter, and it happens to be about a giant that's surrounded with a giant snake. So it's interesting. But it says I read an article somewhere, maybe Zero Hedge, about taxing the unvaxxed. Mike sounds like a discrimination to me, 100%. So I talked about that yesterday. How in Quebec they're basically passing a law saying that if you haven't participated, you're going to pay for that. So and also another way that they can really so okay, here we go. This thought just came to mind because it's already in the works. Another way, so since this mandate has been shot down, from ultimately impacting the private sector, where employers can no longer enforce any of this on their employees, what they can do from the benefits side of things when it comes to your health insurance plan, as well as your life insurance plan, and eventually some other financial vehicles. If it has anything to do with healthcare, they can somehow, some way, because the mandate is still on and operational for those in the healthcare sector. Ultimately, insurance companies can just rate the what I'm trying to say. They can hike the rates up to their insurance policies and premiums or whatnot, making it very burdensome for employers and employees, to where that it's going to be a conflict there as well, to where they basically pass the cost on to the employees in the sense of punishing them for not participating. So that's another way that somehow, some way, there could be more pressure passed along to the people. And so I think we're going to see more people looking to impose fines. And then even in the chat up above, I saw someone mention, let me go back up here, about in France, or let me see here. This is Marcy. Appreciate you for sharing this. I haven't validated this, but it sounds what could be in a line. It says legal action in Canada and the UK too. It says French insurance company refuses payout of life insurance to a family of a French jabbed billionaire since there's enough evidence to consider it a suicide. So, given the fact that these injections and all this stuff is still experimental in nature, if you want to believe the emergency use authorization, there's been more information to say that that's not legit. So technically speaking, by taking those jabs and the risk that comes with that, side effects and possibly near-term death, insurance companies can ultimately say they can find some loopholes and say that we're not going to pay you. And that's another issue that would go before the courts of some kind, because is it a breach of contract, or within the fine print that nobody really tends to read, it says stuff like, you experiment and test trials and all that type of stuff, you don't get compensated if you die. So those are all type of other ways I think that they can get around the legality of mandating it right away. They can punish you on the back end financially. So anyway, let's keep moving. Let me get some calls. So feel free to call in. Curious to hear your thoughts on this. What am I missing? Where am I not missing it? Where I am missing? Let me know. Okay, missing calls. Give me one. Let me see here. All right, here's another thought. Which work says, Mike, I was able to verify this myself. People do not understand that Latin is user as law in this country. When you are voting and Latin is used, English terms are irrelevant. Okay. So I see what you just wrote. Dial in a little bit more on that for me. Give me some more details to that, because I'm hearing you, but let me know exactly. Give me some examples of whatnot. I'm curious to learn more about that. Robert 292 said depopulation completed. Gold chain. It says IRS got a lot of illegal aliens to support. They'll steal your currency. Mike wants a chain, bro. Yeah, like I'm not much of a jewelry guy, bro. Like broker, so definitely I'll hold on to it, but I'm not much of a jewelry person myself. It says watch all the medicine takers drop. Yeah, so I hope that's not the case, but yet once again, we have already been entered into uncharted waters with all the unknowns as well as the suspicions on the agenda of the globalists in their quest for a new world order. Remember, all the presidents up till now has been talking about New World Order. What's some of the details of how they're going to reshape this world that they're creating? And of course, health is one of their primary tools because it's a very lucrative business, as you can tell from share prices of the pharmaceutical companies. Hello, caller. Which name are you calling from?
Mike, Tony from Oakland. Good afternoon, brother.
TB, what's up with you, my friend? Good afternoon to you as well.
Oh, man. One more again?
Yes, sir. Here we are. Let me ask you a question. Real quick. Were you surprised by the Supreme Courts, or is that something that it doesn't matter? Where you stand with that?
Well, I would have been surprised if Biden had said 100 more employees. If they had just made it across the board, then it wouldn't have surprised me if they would have just said, okay, everybody. Yeah, everybody needs to do this.
Right.
You know, then too, in retrospect, OSHA cannot enforce a law that hasn't been written.
Okay.
The Senate has to agree to this law. All the stuff that they're doing is all BS because the Senate is the one that writes the laws. Biden doesn't write any laws. He can only mandate for D.C. only.
Right.
And the D.C. is a state just like Chicago, or just like Illinois.
Right.
A state. And for us to call this a win, it's not a win for us. It's a defeat for them.
Yeah.
We're already winning.
Yeah. Okay. Hey.
When we was born into this earth, God put a win in us. There was no defeat.
I like that approach, man.
Right.
I dig that.
We need to think of it as that. Even when it comes to money, money was never meant to make someone rich. It was just a means to exchange to say this good is valued at this price with this amount of currency.
Right.
And everybody's like, oh yeah, this is the new. No, it's not the new nothing. Because what God put on this earth, He charged you nothing for it, and you can get it for nothing.
Right.
Still to this day.
Good point. It's a gift, man. Hey, I like the angle in which you approach this, man. That's definitely something of use. So yeah, definitely. Thanks for sharing that one, man.
I just look at it this way. Connell West said it best. He said, and LBP attests to this, that every one of us is born between feces and urine. And when we die to be worm food.
Yeah.
So everything else, man, it's just, y'all can have that.
Yeah.
I'm worried about my spiritual being.
Hey, same here, man. And that's the thing, like, so are you worried, or did you mean to use the word worried, or just concerned with? Because I'm not worried about I'm not worried in the sense of like, how things play out. Because I faith-wise, I have confidence in some certain things, but are you worried or concerned? Is that the same
about
thing?
What? About what?
You said about your spiritual side, your spiritual matters.
Well, my spiritual matters because I am in this world. There's always a part of me that says I don't want to go. I'm not ready to go.
Right.
There is that part, but technically, in the moment when it's time, I'm good.
Yeah.
So that's the way we got to look at it. They want to put fear into us, and it's one of those things where we're so fearful that we'll do anything.
Right.
We'll take the jab. We want to go on vacations. I want to get on a plane. No.
Yeah.
No, I'm worried about my spiritual being because you're trying to attack it, and I need to protect it.
Right. Hey.
And the way that I protect it is to get away from you, and that's what we need to start doing. Just get away from the BS that they're putting out there, and don't even pay attention to it. Y'all play y'all games.
Right. Good point.
And I'm just spiritually trying to get within myself because the Spirit talks to you on a constant basis. It does not leave you, does not forsake you, does not let you go, not 1 minute, not 1 second of a day.
Yeah.
It's whether you want to be in contact with your spirit.
Right. Good point, man.
And it's not something that it was a gift given to you along with knowledge, wisdom, understanding, overstanding. Let me say overstanding. And we don't use those gifts. We're more on this religion. We can't even decide which Jesus is real.
Yeah, it's become very divisive in and of itself.
But everybody knows there's one God, Mike. I'm gonna let you go.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in, man.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Yeah, good stuff, man. So I apologize for the camera keep going out. Not sure what's up with that. But anyways, keep moving. So I see some comments out there about about DC territory not being a state itself. And I believe it's his own individual, I can't even think province or whatever it's called. So that's some more of the unknowns of how they structured that particular region there to where it's its own territory, and all the actual states outside of that region are actual states of the republic itself. So I think that's the whole push on democracy. Like they use the Democrata, referring to that center of the country being the epicenter of our government, when in actuality the states themselves are the ones that have been given all the rights that for some reason they don't seem to enforce anything. Hello, caller. Which name are we calling from?
Yeah, Mike, Steve, from Region 9.
Steve, what's going on with you, my friend?
Hey, I'm going to run through these real quick on these. Number one is how to get a hold of ivermectin.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If the audience isn't aware, you can go to a doctor's site called mygotodoc.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's mygotodoc.com, and you can order ivermectin through there. I just finished doing it myself. It
Mm-hmm.
hasn't arrived yet, but it was like $114.
Yeah.
You just have to keep up with all the emails.
Yeah.
Because it kind of slowed my process down because I was missing some of the emails.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's number one. Number two is I just forwarded a video to you concerning the life insurance companies.
Mm-hmm.
Those puppies might go belly up due to all of the deaths.
Right.
It was several days ago when I sent it, but since you were talking about it, I went on and forwarded it to you.
Okay, let me grab it.
So that's on there also.
Okay, so I'll open that up. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah, and the other one is it's in another video from True News. They had some Irish economist female on there, and she was talking about 80% of jobs where people make $20 or less will be eliminated due to AI by 2030. So that was a pretty good show.
Yeah.
And the very, yeah, I know. and the very last thing was a follow up on that 11 states situation where he's talking about putting people in camps.
Yeah.
There's a clause. There's a clause in there also. So it's not just the jab.
Mm-hmm.
There's a clause in there that says, and for any other reason. That's pretty broad.
Yeah. And I mean that leaves that up to them to interpret what those other reasons are and what those other things are. So yeah, that's that slippery slope where they can fill in anything right there.
Correct. Yeah, that's for anything. Yeah, if you take them off, you said something wrong.
Yeah.
Off to the camp you go. So
criticize the government. You're off to the as well. So yeah, spreading misinformation, economic information, health misinformation, anything labeled as misinformation, whatever words they come up with nowadays, can probably get you sent that way too. So yeah,
absolutely. And if anybody wants to look up that Washington law, it's WAC 246-100-040, and they can look it up on Washington's government website.
Yeah,
and I think that's about it. Unless you want to comment on any of those other ones that we ran through.
No, I appreciate your thoughts. I'll put it on the screen as you were talking, so we'll keep it moving. But let the audience decipher and chew on that a little bit. But thanks for calling in, man. I see some people talking about other health alternatives as well with ivermectin in the chat, so that's a good thing. So thanks for bringing that up to us, man.
Yeah, mygotodoc.com. They're pretty good.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care.
Be good.
Take care.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Yeah, so having a couple of those options at your disposal in case something pops off, and may I remind you that as more of the more people wake up to the lies being told about this current sickness or the versions that they're throwing out our way, it's just a matter of time before they're capable of throwing something else at us. And I was actually looking at how it's come up again, the whole Havana syndrome. And how I guess Congress now is still talking about trying to get to the bottom of that. And so that is something that's on the table as well, because that was a technology weapon in the form of emitting some type of frequency towards the embassy down in Cuba, and made a lot of the embassy workers sick for headaches and vomit and all types of stuff. So they were using technology, and so of course we have the 5G situation as well. And I think as of next week, and so Jay mentions it, 5G rollout next week. And so I think I saw something about around airports. They are not allowing around, let me see, actually, I think I shared it, but around 30 or so airports, they're not allowing the frequencies to, they're not cutting the towers on around those airports for some reason, because of interfering with the transmissions of the planes taking off and landing. So that's coming next week as well. And once again, nobody knows how the injections mixed with the 5G rollouts, because I was under the impression that they were already activated. So it looks like I think Verizon, AT&T, and a couple other ones are actually going to turn on a switch. And I was reading through some of the article, and they were talking about the different frequencies that they're going to be tuned to. So it was 3 different tiers of frequencies for different things. And of course, that stuff is untested. It actually got approved without any congressional voting or anything like that. It was just rammed down our throat. And here we are today. Every, half a mile, or I'm sorry, about a quarter of a mile, there's a tower somewhere. So that's very concerning as well. So you mix the unknown frequencies with whatever happened to be in those jabs, it could spell a real zombie apocalypse. Remember the CDC's website type of event. So who knows? We'll see. God forbid it does. But Beverly Smith says jabs, 5G, and CBDC equals reset. That definitely those are some key ingredients towards them, meaning the globalists, accomplishing their transition to a new world that they are trying to order. So, so I see some people comment. Let me find if I'll actually find it. 5G near airports. Here you go, right here. Threatens cockpit. So here's an article here that talks a little bit more about that. But it says FAA warns to pilots and the airlines over new 5G threat to cockpit safety system. So this is what's happening. This is what's been rolled out there. So we'll see what happens with it. Anyways, get the next call. Hello, caller. Where are we calling from?
This is Dennis Jansen. I'm calling you from my ranch in Yashaba, Mexico.
Dennis from Mexico. Moved. What's going on, my friend? Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind today?
Well, I wanted to discuss the Supreme Court ruling. It kind of shocked me.
Yeah.
For the Supreme Court to follow the Constitution is rare.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
I left Israel's big brother about 3 months ago and came down to Yashkabad, Mexico, and bought an 86-acre farm.
Okay.
I don't know how the United States citizens can pay taxes, as they are literally sheep being led to slaughter.
Yeah, that's a different way of putting it, but yeah, I hear your point.
Yes. This is very, disturbing what's been going on, but what's the end game? I mean, the citizens are going to have to revolt. This is not a revolution, because you cannot allow this to happen again. This is a revolt, and actions need to be taken, and peaceful protesting and things like that.
Yeah.
They're not working.
For right now, they're not, and I think more of their agenda will be exposed this spring, heading into that cyber event, as well as the consequences of the government trying to dial back that easing. So, I think people will hit the streets whether they want to or not, but might be too late from a financial standpoint. But yeah.
Well, it might be too late from a health standpoint too.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of damage has already been injected into the system.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word, I don't want to hurt your show.
Right.
But do you have, I wanted to talk about gold a little bit.
Yeah, feel free to go ahead and share some thoughts real quick. I will get some more calls in. I appreciate you checking in. Share some thoughts real quick and we get some more callers in.
Well, if interest rates go up in March and they don't shut down the market and the false flags, let's assume that they don't, and the interest rates go up, the real rate, if they adjust the CPI calculations, which they want to do, that's going to make real interest rates positive, not as negative, which, right now I'm kind of sitting on the sideline with some currency because I think gold is going to go down. But if I ask the question to you like this, do you see gold going to 2,000 or 1,600 first? Which way is it going? I personally think it's going.
It's going down. It's going down. I think it's going a lot lower than that. So think about this. Once all the accommodative policies come to a halt, if they are able to, the markets will seize up because they can only move forward with the creation of new currency and all that other stuff. So if they stop supporting the markets, it will tank like never before. And we will see the biggest sell-off in modern day history because they're all spot future prices and all that crap. So spot-wise, hell, they can dump all the contracts at once to scare everybody, taking it to like $1,000. But that's just on paper. So you won't be able to actually buy it for $1,000 because no dealer in their right mind would be willing to exchange paper for something that's about to go to the moon. And then the response of the government will be something we've never seen. And then it's going to take off to God knows what the ceiling could be because it's priced in something that's dying. So that's why I don't play around much with the price of the numbers because it's all about possession when stuff hits the fan, in my opinion. So it's going down before it goes up, is what long story short.
I agree with you, and that's why I'm sitting in some currency right now. I sold quite a bit of gold right before the Fed announcement at 1763, kind of kicking myself, but it keeps knocking at that door and getting rejected at 1825, and there's not that much support, below that 1750. It's dropping.
Right.
If
but here's
it breaks
the thing.
that's why I was a seller.
Right.
I was hoping to buy it back.
Yeah, but right now I'm looking at this spot price, and it's $23.08 for silver, $1,800 for gold. Where can you buy it anywhere near any of those prices? There's a premium on top of that, and the premium will be the difference maker for everybody moving forward, which will be the determinant, which will determine how much physical you can actually get, because the premiums will pick up like never before. Because right now you can't buy an ounce of gold for $1,800. You're going to spend at least $150 on top of that, or $100 at least. So technically speaking, gold is already at $1,950 or $2,000 when you walk into the store. So my concern is, and this is why I wrestle with as well. How much dry powder do you want on the side, given the fact that having that powder in prior times of market chaos served its purpose well, but given that things are coming to a halt globally in all markets, will you still have the same opportunity? And that's where I'm like, it's a gamble, because you may not be able to shore up as much as you think you can based upon history. So that's why I was like, I'd rather just get as much as I can now, not take a chance when the markets drop, just because it might be just more than, concerns of the markets. It might be a banking event at the same time, a housing event, stock market, bond. So it's going to be a lot on their plate to try to, cover up, and getting physical at that moment might not be easy. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong about all this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I do too. Unfortunately, I think you're going to be right.
But hey, man, I appreciate you calling, man.
Thank you for taking the call. God bless you and
you,
listeners. Take care.
Quick question for you, real quick, before you hang up. Somebody in the chat mentioned or asked about, with the land you have there, I'm assuming you're growing some things. Are you growing? Got some cattle? What you doing down there, if you don't mind sharing?
Yes. Yeah, I've been here for 3 months, but I've been on my ranch that I just purchased with gold, by the way. Converting it. I keep most of my gold in Singapore.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've purchased 6 cattle. I have 9 sheep now. I purchased 200 chicken. I planted 400 trees, 200 lime, 200 grapefruit, and some other fruit trees. I have 460 fruit trees now, and I'm fixing the irrigation system, and I'm building 6 rentals here in Yaxcabal, Mexico, which is in the Yucatan.
Man, okay, I'm coming down to visit you, man. Save me a space.
No, you're definitely welcome, and like-minded people are, and that's one of the reasons that we're building the rentals is to help people get out of Israel's big little brother.
Do me a favor, spell that, the region you're in. I want to pull it up on a map just to show it, see what it looks like. Spell it for me.
It's in the Yucatan.
Okay, so
and Yashaba is spelled Yacaba, and it's a really small community, but I really love the people. The thing that surprises me the most about Mexico is the kindness of the people.
Yeah.
And I can barely count to 10 in Spanish, and I have contractors here. They're working right now on the ranch and things like that. I've uploaded some videos, and I'll be uploading more on my YouTube channel. But anyway,
well, good luck, man.
As I was traveling through the United States promoting my book, I was at Gerald Salente's deal last spring, and then went out to the West Coast selling books.
Yeah,
I can tell you, the United States public is not engaged. They are defeated in many ways, and they don't care.
Right. A lot of people, they don't realize what's at stake. They don't know the consequences of their ignorance at this current moment in time in history. Like, the history that's going to be written about this period won't be favorable for the majority, unfortunately. But you can only wake up so many people in time to just give themselves a chance at having a little bit of help or longevity in this game. So, yeah. But hey, man.
Well, one of the things with that is history is written by the victors, and I'd like to think that good is going to prevail in this.
Yeah.
But if not, the true history will not be told, just like the true history of the United States, which is filthy. I mean, it never was a great country. Maybe back with Andrew Jackson, but heck, he appointed himself king and did the Indian Removal Act. I mean, after the Supreme Court said that he couldn't, he went ahead and appointed himself king and said, "I'm doing it."
Yeah.
His legacy to us that are precious metals people is the fact that he killed the central bank.
Yeah. Now watch this real quick. Real quick. I want to get some more calls in, but somebody in the chat wanted to know about your book. I remember you joined us for a live chat a while ago. Give us the name of your book again.
It's the Totalitarian Two-Step. My name's Dennis Jansen. The book is on Amazon, and the subtitle is A Contrarian View to the United States of Israel's Exceptionalism. It deals with false flags, fake wars, a failing currency system, and much more. I talk about some of the characters. We can talk about my book for a long time.
Yeah, do me a favor. Yeah, I'm definitely curious to stay up to date with the operations you got down there. Shoot me an email. I'd definitely love to connect with you more, man. So shoot me an email at rethinkingthedollar@gmail. Appreciate you, man.
You take care.
Be good.
Bye.
Hello, Carlos. Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. It's low blood pressure. Corpus Christi. How's it going today?
How you doing, my friend?
Good. I don't know. TB talking about Dirty South. What was he talking about earlier?
Dirty South, you say?
Something like that. I heard him talking about in between something and something.
No, I don't know. I don't recall about Dirty South, but you gotta ask him in the chat. What's going on with you, man?
Hey, look, check it out, Mike. The event is right around the corner, Mike. The Supreme Court just stopped them. Yeah. It's got to happen now or never, Mike.
So, event as far as cyber or some false flag, or we talk about what event you got in mind? Possible.
It's gonna be all, Mike. It's gonna be a trifecta. They're gonna activate the 5G. Everybody's gonna die of the shot, and then the banking system's gonna collapse.
You throwing it all at us at once, man. I hope you're wrong.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be like the devil's dream come true, the devil's wet dream.
That's not good. I don't want to make him happy, man. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but it's just so crazy, man. Who knows, man? But
I'm telling you,
yeah.
You know how many laughs he had when nobody was going to the church because of the scare,
right? Right. Very true.
And look, I'm not a Muslim, but they have something called the Hajj, where they go, to Mecca.
Yeah.
They canceled that, man. That devil must be doing somersaults, laughing,
Yeah. So no. Okay. So I see TB. Not to cut you off, but TB is talking about everyone is born between urine and feces and died to become worm food, and I think he credited that to you, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh man, that sounds like Dirty South to me.
Hey man, I appreciate you as always, man. So all eyes are open, man. Like this spring and this summer is going to be a time to remember for sure, for both good and hopefully not bad. But yet it's what you make of it, of course. So appreciate you, man.
All right, Mike. I think it's going to be here before February, but hey,
I mean, right now the way the cards is playing out, they I think we week by week with what they want to accomplish. So the goal is, trying to stop that, in mass, in unison, globally. So far so good, man. I think we are right on par to, slow them down or derail them. So, Laura Willis, we got to definitely pray on it more, man. But appreciate you, man.
All right, Mike. I just want to tell everybody to keep a smile on the face. Life is good.
Definitely, 100%, man. Appreciate you. Be good.
All right. All right, bye.
Hello, caller. What's your name? We lost somebody. There was somebody there. Let's see what we got. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
How you doing, Mike? Pound for pound, Los Angeles.
Pound for pound from Los Angeles. What's going on, my friend?
Good. Hey, I'm just calling. Talk a little bit about the decision today.
Yeah. Give us your thoughts.
I think it was a good good day for the people.
Yeah.
But this fight is still early, right? Everybody knows that, right? Everybody has to wait. We know that it's still early, and this is actually maybe the end of the first round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of a decade-long fight.
Right.
But one of the things that that I guess I learned throughout this whole process, right? And I think most people, that understand what's happening is, who they could trust,
mm-hmm.
right? Who's in their corner, right? That's including, family members, that's including friends, that's including, employers. So, it made me see things a lot differently, right, Mike?
Right.
Where I'm now looking at everyone just completely different. And I know that there's certain people that I used to think I could trust
mm-hmm.
that I just, 100% know that I can't.
Right.
What do you think, Mike?
Right. It definitely, this whole experience definitely has done a good job of, on a negative sense, of dividing people, which is what it's intended to do. But then also it shines light on all the cracks and crevices as where people, where their faith is, what they truly believe, who's actually for you, who's against you. So it exposes, it actually is broke up a lot of families. It's been very divisive.
Yeah.
But yet again, for those that are strong and rooted in their faith as well as in their convictions and what's going on, it draws you closer to like-minded individuals. It helps weed out the believers from those who don't. So I think that's been a good thing because the community definitely got stronger. So more people are standing firm now than they were prior to, because we realize and we see all the lies, and more lies are coming about. More lies are coming out about more things like never before, like Antarctica stuff, and I just I'm seeing more posts about giants and all types of stuff that we would have never known prior to now, because the truth is surfacing. So I think that's a benefit.
Yeah. Well, I'm disappointed in many ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel more, I feel stronger in my convictions. I've met some great people now, that I know that I can trust.
Yeah.
But Michael, also because the fight is early, right?
Right.
Using a boxing analogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
The bell for the second round, I don't think it started yet. I think this Supreme Court decision is probably the end of the first round.
Right.
And I think the people, we edged it out. But what do you think the second round is going to look like, and how soon?
Second round. So to use that boxing analogy, man, definitely from those that's trying to control this narrative, it's going to be more death, more destruction, and of course, it's all geared upon the corruption.
Do you think it's going to be like a cyber attack, like the next attack, cyber attack, war, another
all that's
virus,
on the table. All that's on the table.
All that stuff.
All that. So I say we never know, because it's evil forces that control all of these avenues, whether it be the political realm, the monetary realm, the technical realm. So it's a matter of it's hard to read, other than knowing that the vaccines are for a reason. Of course, 5G merged with that is for another reason. Then you got the CBDCs, which is another reason. Then you got government takeover, which is another reason. The removal of the Constitution, restructuring of the Constitution is another objective they have. So it's hard to tell, but this year itself is going to be another challenge overall, just because that's the way they're going to set up everything to be. So God forbid they actually succeed with it, but we know their agenda. Now it's like, how can we thwart those plans? And it's speaking more truth, shining more light on these dark and dirty crevices definitely help us. So I'm up here losing my video.
Well, at the very least, Mike, and I'll leave you with this.
Mm-hmm.
And going into the second round, we know who's in our corner.
Right, 100%.
Right.
100%.
All right, Mike. Thanks
you, man.
a lot, man. I appreciate your work, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, outside of, and one of the best advantages we have as those that are awake and aware is that, having spiritual discernment. Everybody know in a spirit right now that things are changing, and we are able to witness the evil and how foolish things are. Like the whole idea of wearing masks to protect yourself. People still believe in that stuff, and the idea that you should still go participate, even though it's been proven that it doesn't stop or prevent. It's like, at some point, spiritual sense kicks in for a lot of people. We realize that this is not about. It's never been about health. It's all about the transition. And of course, we know from Revelations where this ends up at, and then those who end up on the winning side. And this is all a spiritual warfare battle happening in the natural realm, and things have to play out. But yeah, that's why it's never been more important to stand firm on your faith and strengthen your faith. And, also figure out your part in this battle. Like, this is a spiritual warfare battle, and faith is our primary foundation to stand upon. Our fighting tools are the word of God itself. And how can we be a blessing to other people? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of how that's all plays down, because there's still opportunity out there to further advance the kingdom of God. But anyway, past my time here. Appreciate everybody, as always, for hanging out with me. If you enjoyed the back and forth, hit the thumbs up, show your support for the channel. And back at it tomorrow at noon with Mike and the Mario Show. And other than that, be blessed, be safe, stay prayed up, and definitely put the Lord first in all you do, and you will succeed in the name of Jesus. Amen. Anyway, be blessed, people. I'll see you guys later. Visit Rethinking the Dollar throughout the day. Your place for news on metals, gold, crypto, you name it. Scroll down to the bottom and you get a chance to see the daily videos, the recommended videos, and more importantly, the 5 reasons to unplug from the monetary matrix, with the first one being the awakening period. Step number 1, test your dollar IQ. 10 simple questions, average is 60%. Follow up with the alternative perspective with the monetary reports. Consider becoming a supporter of the Rethinking the Dollar platform via Patreon. Get a chance to hang out off air, as well as additional information that can't be discussed on YouTube. Any support is helpful. With the crackdown on alternative media, the best thing to do is connect off air. Scroll down to the very bottom. You can find Rethinking the Dollar on Telegram, audio, Facebook, Twitter, Parler, you name it. The most important ones will be the email list, where you can get notified weekly, the Discord page, and make sure you connect on Telegram. And last, don't forget to visit the RTD store, where you can get merchandise as well as additional information and resources. And most importantly, scroll down to the bottom and get your weight up with all the limited edition rounds only available on the RTD store.